Everything's a thought. Everything's mental. You create your reality with your thoughts. You build your story with your mind. When I built this story, I wanted to be Mr. Olympia. That starts with a thought. Then come the actions. I learned I can apply that to many things. And you can bring things into your reality.
Dorian Yates, The Shadow. Universally recognized as the best body on the planet for 6 years in a row. This is the story of a man who had total control of his life, his dreams, his body. But it came at great cost. He sacrificed friends, family, and any concept of a normal life. He pushed the human body past its limits. He achieved extraordinary things. Then one day, he lost it all. How many of us are really in control of our lives? Or are we clinging to an illusion? My name is Brian Rose. I used to be in control. Or at least, I thought I was. I spent 10 years as a banker amassing more money than I knew what to do with. I had all the toys a boy could want. I had it all. And I was dying inside. So I destroyed it all and walked away. I started a show called London Real. In-depth conversations with inspiring people that I broadcast to the world. It was my attempt to connect. It made me open up my heart and start to care about others. It began to change my life, and I started to heal. One year later, in 2013, Dorian walked into my studio. I didn't expect to learn anything new from a bodybuilder, even if he was 6-time Mr. Olympia. But instead of talking about the body, he spoke to me about the soul. And it changed me. And London Real changed him, too. Dorian had isolated himself for 14 years in a basement dungeon with one purpose: to build the most powerful body in the world. But in doing so, he forgot about human connection, which his soul desperately needed. London Reelers picked up his vibrations, and he became one of our most popular guests in history. And we slowly became friends. 2.5 years later, he came back. Everything about him was different. The way he looked, the way he talked, his whole aura had shifted. Dorian had changed, and I needed to find out more. After the show, Dorian invited me to his home on the southern tip of Spain. But why Spain? What was the shadow doing in the sun? I had my chance to find out who this man really was and what truly made him tick. I needed to see what he had become and if he had found his peace. When I arrived in Marbella, Dorian asked me to meet him at a private members club. But I had a funny feeling this wasn't like any club I knew in London. After our last conversation, Dorian had rolled up a joint in our studio. One thing is for certain, I'm not smoking anything.
Brian,
How are you?
fancy meeting you here.
Good to see you.
Yeah, cool, man. Let me show you around the place, Joe's Smoking Club.
This is Joe's,
Yeah,
huh?
my private members club for people that appreciate cannabis. It's like a collective we all put together and support the club, and so we can get good quality cannabis when we need it.
Right, and
Yeah.
this is a really relaxed, chill atmosphere.
Yeah, it's a nice place to hang out. We've got pool tables down here, a nice seating area upstairs, some nice music and so on. So I'll show you upstairs.
Yeah,
mate.
let's take a look.
It's almost like they built this place for me, because first when you go up the stairs here, you got this guy, Bob Marley.
And you've got Bob tattooed on your front shin, right?
And
There we go.
we got Bob Marley here. Got Bob Marley on the wall here. So here you got the upstairs nice seating area. Some cool
love
messages
this.
on the wall.
I love this.
That's what it's all about,
Right?
Peace, love, enjoy, relax. That's what it's all about, and that's why we're here.
Thanks for having us here. Thanks for your hospitality.
Very, very welcome. Very welcome. It's great to have you here in Marbella, my new home. I've been living here for 3 years now, permanent resident of Spain.
I think our lives are kind of intertwined in a way, Dorian. And when I get stopped on the streets, a lot of times you're the guy that interviewed Dorian Yates.
It's funny because obviously people recognize me for my bodybuilding achievements, but since we did the London Reels, the audience, if you like, that's listen to what I gotta say is very broad, and people stopping on the street, hey, you're that guy from London Reel, not even you're Mr. Olympia. So it's great, and as we were saying earlier, I don't do a lot of interviews because I don't see the point often. And the whole thing that attracted me in the first place was London Real. That's the whole thing, the real shit.
I feel like I'm learning things from you, learning a bit about spirituality. And since your last interview a year ago, when you said we all give off vibrations and they all
Yeah.
carry on to each other, and I must think of that once every couple weeks at London Real for the last 2 years. And
Well, I watched your video about me telling you about the vibrations,
Yeah.
and it reminded me back sometimes when I wasn't having a good day. Like, why is this? What is it about me? Because ultimately we're creators. We're all creators of our own reality. So if something in your life you don't like, or it's a problem or whatever, you got to kind of figure out what is it about yourself that created that or brought that into your life. So watching you talking about me reminds me of what I was talking about in the first place, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it like vibrates back to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk to me about Marbella. It's a fascinating place here. It's got the beach. It's got yachts that I saw last night that must be $10 million. It is hedonistic in some ways.
Yeah.
And there in the middle of it is blood and guts, Dorian Yates, the blue collar guy, the guy that decided not to move to California, the guy that decided not to associate himself with the Venice Beach bodybuilding culture and stayed in that basement at Temple Gym year after year and got results and achieved your goal. And now you're here.
Because I did what served me at the time. I've been training inside a gym all my life, 30 years, and not a very pretty gym in Birmingham, most of it. So it's nice to be outside in the sun and in the nature here. It's really a beautiful spot.
Do you think Dorian Yates only could have been forged in Birmingham, in that basement?
I believe so, yeah.
If Dorian had grew up in Marbella,
it probably never would have happened. I think so. A lot of things were the fact that I lost my father very young, and I didn't really have a family. I left home at 16. Wasn't really close to my mother. All these things made me very, very hungry. And when I started training, it was a strange feeling that I kind of knew. It's almost like I kind of knew what deep inside what the destiny was and what I had to do, and how I had to be very careful not to step off that track and get distracted or sidetracked or whatever.
So you knew there was something bigger planned. You didn't know it was Mr. Olympia at the
I don't
time.
know if I knew it really consciously, maybe subconsciously, and now I can look back and say, hey, I always knew that I was cut out to do something different, and I didn't relate to the circumstances and the people around me and their view of what life was. Get a job.
A simple life.
Get a council house, get some kids, go to work. There's got to be more than that.
You mentioned hunger before. Hunger was there. How much anger was there?
Probably was, but I think was very good at directing it into the training. Like, fuckers, I'm going to show you.
Anger. It can get you a long way. I used it myself as a young man on Wall Street, obsessed with making money. I was on my way to lift with Dorian Yates.
The way I approach the contest is Dorian Yates against Dorian Yates of last year. And that's what I'm trying to beat. I'm trying to beat the Dorian Yates of last year rather than thinking about beating other people, which basically I have no control over. So that's my competition.
But Dorian took it to another level, and I was about to find out. He used it to push back against every physical instinct in order to reach his goal. He pounded his body into submission, day after day after day.
But what people got to realize is when I'm on stage, when I'm in the gym, that's my job. And to me, it is serious. I take that seriously.
Everyone had access to the same equipment, the same knowledge, even the same drugs. What made Dorian different, what made him a champion, was embracing the pain. Because where there's pain, there's growth. Dorian's leg training sessions were notorious in the bodybuilding community. The bigger the muscle group, the bigger the pain. Everyone dreaded his leg day. But every now and then, some sucker would venture up to Temple Gym and give one a try.
Fucking bitch!
It never ended well.
Hey, Brian.
This is it. There's the spot, right?
Welcome to the jungle, man.
Love it, love it. What a great setup here.
Yeah, we're going to start outside, a little bit different from Temple Gym.
Yeah,
Got
right?
a nice outside area with the sun and everything like that. So we're going to start out there with a little bit of stretching, mobility exercises.
Okay, sounds good.
And it's leg day today, man.
It's leg
so
day.
It's straight in the deep end, man. Why not?
You're known for your leg days,
Yeah.
right?
So it's going to be fun. Let's go.
I'm
Let's
excited.
go outside.
What do you look for when you look for a gym to train in?
It's really about the equipment, good hardcore equipment, and preferably a conducive atmosphere.
Okay.
I can go to a gym where it's, you know, these corporate fitness gyms where if you're making noise or you happen to drop the weight or something like that, that they're going to get upset. So it's hard to find a real good gym, and that's what we had in Temple Gym. People used to feel it when they walk down the stairs. Like gyms is somewhere where you do some hard ass work. You're going to be sweating, you're going to be groaning, you're going to be making noise, and if that intimidates somebody in there, then they shouldn't be in there. It's not a gym, you know. It's all about the hard work. It's all about the work, man.
And do you try to leave it all on the table when you go in for a workout like this? Do you try to die?
If you're going to work in your comfort zone, why is your body going to adapt and change? It has no stress. Muscle growth is an adaptation to a stress, yeah? So if you're used to this level of stress, your body's not going to change. Guys come to start training, their body's not used to anything, right? So anything is going to be a stress. Pretty soon the body starts to adapt, and you see people, they will grow and they'll progress for maybe a year, 18 months, and after that they don't really get anywhere. Because now your body's got used to that. Now you've got to, every time you've got to push beyond. It's like a habit. If you can overcome that, it's going to be easier next time. And that's like life. If you're going to just fold and fall down, oh, this is good chance you're going to do that next time, and next time it becomes a habit, you know?
And in other parts in your life. You do
Yeah,
that
as
too.
well. So, you know.
So have an intention.
Absolutely.
Go
You got to
in
have
here.
a goal, you know. It's like you got to have a plan and a desire. Because if you haven't got a desire, when it gets really uncomfortable, you're probably just going to say, hey, screw this, this is enough, you know.
Right. Good.
All right.
Shall we?
I'm going to show you the stations where we're going to be working out, so you can visualize what we're going to do. So we're going to do a light set to get the movement, get everything, get the blood in there. We're going to do a medium set
Okay.
to further, you know, get the body and the mind ready.
Yeah.
And then the last set is going to be like somebody's got a gun to your little baby's head, yeah? And he's going to pull the trigger unless you fucking give 100%. It's life and death. One set. Then we move on to another exercise, and we're going to do leg press. So the toughest stuff is first. Trust me, those 3 exercises are the beast.
I
you
just
know?
had a little baby, so the
I know you
gun,
did.
the gun to his head reference is very.
I thought so. I thought that would work. All right. All yours. Come on. 10. All yours. Push. 11. Yours. That's it. Control. One more. Push. Easy. One more. One more. Let's go. Push. Control down. Control. Okay, great. Good job.
That's pretty painful.
Yeah. Come on, 5. Come on.
Oh God!
Push. Up. There you go. That's the set. That's the set.
Are these like the plates you had at Temple? These are old school, right?
Yeah, these are real weights, man.
Do you like?
Real old iron.
Do you prefer this?
Yeah. You don't want to be too sanitized, you know? It's not nice. It's nasty, this shit, you know?
Nasty, right?
Yeah.
Dark and nasty.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get angry. You got to push. You got to visualize whatever helps you get through that set. You know. I used to do. You know. I say to myself, this is for my family. This is for my wife and my kid, and you know.
Yeah.
And even like kind of a fuck you motivation. This
Right.
is for everybody. Like
It says
I can't do it.
Yeah.
You know. Let's
and
see
this
about
is
that.
them laughing at me when I don't.
Yeah,
When I don't.
And this is because I don't want to be
Like them.
Like that guy, you know?
Right,
You know?
right. I don't want to end
I
up
gotta
like
fight.
him.
I gotta get out of here, you know?
And so it's you and the weights keeping you from being like that guy.
Exactly, yeah.
It's powerful.
One more, up.
Yeah.
Yes.
The two words you don't want Dorian to say. One more. Does it frustrate you when people that are uneducated think that steroids is the missing link as opposed to what you just saw in there, just going past your limits?
You know, not really, because people who don't know, they don't know, you know? Maybe if I knew nothing about bodybuilding, I might assume that, because, I mean, a bodybuilder looks like something really strange, right? Like a freak. But, you know, we all know that guys cycling around the mountains and other athletes use steroids, maybe not to the extent that bodybuilders do. It's part of the game. We never deny that.
I took steroids on and off, you know, on and off. From when I was competing at amateur competitions, you know, British Championship level, up into professional level from 85 to 97 when I retired. So that's 12 years of fairly consistent use. And of course, athletes don't use the recommended dose of steroids. They use way more than their recommended dose.
That's why I tell people that, you know, they haven't been training very long or beginners, you don't need steroids. And then if you're going to compete, maybe then you're going to make a choice. But I wouldn't recommend it to anybody that doesn't compete. I don't see the point, because you can't, once you stop taking the steroids, you can't keep all those gains. You cannot, yeah? So then you get somewhat of an addiction with people, because they feel good to be this powerful guy and they don't want to lose that. So then they're in a cycle of continuously taking steroids, which is extreme, you know?
Yeah. Would steroids help you with a little extra aggro in the gym
Yeah,
sometimes?
you know, testosterone is a male hormone. It makes you, you know, gives you that drive, gives you that aggressiveness.
Yeah.
So you will get that from steroids, and you've got to be careful that doesn't spill out into other areas of your life, which, you know, it does sometimes with some guys, you know?
Yeah.
They can't control that. I was very good at channeling all my aggression in the gym, and I didn't have anything left for afterwards, you know? So I didn't have that problem, but it will increase your aggressiveness and assertiveness and all the things we associate with being masculine male. Strong, Brian. Come on. 6. 7. Easy. One more. Come on. Breathe. 2 more. One more. You got it. Come on. You got it. Thank you. One more. Last one. Everything. Lock it up. Down a bit. This way. All right. Okay?
Yeah. Good.
It's taxing. I can see you're already going a little pale. There's
Yeah.
oxygen there.
I feel a little darkness there, which is strange because I do legs every week, but I don't do them like this.
Yeah, well, not many people do, but if you want to get results, this is the best way to do it, you know?
Yeah, you have to fight every impulse
Yeah.
to stop.
Yeah, but you knew we were there, right?
Yeah.
You knew we were there. Nothing bad can happen.
But my lizard brain tells me I'm gonna get crushed,
Yeah.
and I have nothing in my legs.
Yeah. So that just shows you probably, if I wasn't there, you probably would have finished 3 or 4 reps less than we did.
Yeah.
And that's the key.
And if I don't do that, I don't really make
Everybody
improvements.
wants to know what the secret is. You just learn.
Those
That's
last
it.
3 reps. So
That's the
it's
difference.
just the fact that people aren't willing to go to the most painful place in their brain
Day after day.
day after day.
Day after day. Nothing special about this. It's every day, call it day in the office. You know, it's another day in the office. This is, you know, this is what I do.
Right.
And that was good. Very, very proud of you, man.
Okay,
All right,
thanks, man.
have a little breather.
Okay. Man.
Walk around a little bit. Walk
Okay.
around. Move.
Dorian's proud of me. That's a good sign. Yeah, that was pretty intense. I didn't realize it would be that like mind-boggling. I've done these exercises before, but I've never done them with Dorian there, and so he just forces you to go extra hard, and he's piling a lot of weight on there, and so yeah, but I just trust him and then go for that extra. That last set I thought was gonna crush me, that last rep. But he's right, that's what gives you the breakdown in the muscle that gets you to the next level. And most people, probably myself too, go to the gym and they train within their limits. So, but how you gonna improve if you don't get out of your comfort zone?
It wasn't really my body. I was very detached from it. It was like a project that I was working on, and through hard work and dedication, I could build this project. The challenge of doing something and being the best at it. Not only the best, I wanted to like exceed what had been done before. I'm good at this, and this is what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to put, you know, people say don't put all your eggs in one basket, but I just had one egg, so I better look after that egg and, you know, nurture it. We're talking about the results of consistency, of 10 years of dedication, day in, day out, absolutely getting the most out of each day. So it's all about the work. Nobody worked harder than me in bodybuilding. I'm sure of that fact. The guys that competed against me, they were so good because I was there. They knew that this maniac, yeah, was over in England, in the cold, in the rain, in this dungeon, and he was just kicking ass day by day. A lot of deaths I've seen throughout my life. You know, my sister died when I was younger, my father died, my grandparents died, so, you know, probably more motivation to really, you know, make something of this opportunity, this life. Let's do something. Got to do this, and every day I've got to give 100% on that day of what I can do towards this goal. And kind of was like living in a tunnel, living in a bubble. Stuff was going on around me, but I didn't really take much notice of it. You know, I didn't get distracted. Try and find a picture of me smiling pre-97. Try and find one. There's very, very few pictures. I mean, that tells something to me now, you know? That very stoic, and I was known for not smiling on stage. You know, I created a whole other persona which people liked anyway, was the mean, you know, Terminator guy that doesn't smile and is just like a rock, you know? So in a way it worked for me, but it wasn't in any way planned. That was just the way I was. Because it's like this guy, he comes out of his gym in Birmingham, goes to a contest, devastates everybody, and disappears. And everyone's like, who's that guy? Where's he come from? All this enigma, and then disappears in his gym for another year or 2 years and just trains and doesn't let anyone see him because he's got sweatshirt on all the time, and then pops up again and just blows everyone's mind and disappears again, like a shadow. I almost feel like a different person now. Now I feel really kind of getting to know who I am, what I am, and feel comfortable about that. But I'm 54 years old, you know, so I'm just starting to get there.
Dorian invited me to his home on the beach. It was a long way from Birmingham.
Bodybuilding was so individual for me. I had to study the nutrition. I had to do the training. I had to find out how it worked with my body. There were no teammates. There were no family. There was nobody to let me down. It was just all down to me, win or lose. And that was the appeal.
He said he had something to show me that no one had seen before. Something that would reveal his innermost self, as it was back in his training days. A specimen like Dorian had never existed in human history. How do you create such a thing? It took vision, rigorous dedication, and an almost scientific approach to his own body.
You dropped out of school at 16?
16, yeah, I didn't do my formal examinations or anything like that.
So who taught you the scientific method that's based in his books? Because I trained science as a kid. I became an engineer later, and it sounds like you're holding a pretty strict protocol to a scientific method here.
I don't know. Nobody really taught me it. It just came. Maybe I read a suggestion somewhere. It's good to keep a training journal. I think Mike Mensa might have said it's good to keep a training journal. But yeah, I was just very meticulous about what I was doing, very serious about what I was doing from day one. I mean, we got some of the books here
What do we have
that I
here?
fished out. I haven't got them all here, but this one is from May 1984 to October 1984. And I started training in 83, and look what we got on here. Strength of body, power of mind.
Wow.
And this is,
What is that
you know,
symbol, too?
I don't
That's
know.
interesting.
I don't even
It's
know. I
like
did it at
you're
the time.
channeling- You're channeling some energy there.
Yeah, I don't know, but you know, we got stuff on there, mass and power. You know, I'm a kid, so I'm still just like a little bit kid-like, you know. But high intensity training.
You already-
1984, we're talking about high intensity training
it's
already.
got asterisks there.
Yeah, Ceiling Unlimited is just.
It's interesting because these all have nothing to do with weight training specifically.
It's
This
more
is
to
a
do with the mental side, yeah.
aspect.
More to do with the mental side of it, and I always saw that as the key, and that was my strength that I had over everybody else. So we got in here, had a layoff for 5 days. Probably was feeling tired or something.
Like a bit smooth watch diet. So
Yeah,
you're already
yeah,
watching your body shape.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, this is funny, man. It's funny for me because I haven't read these things for years and years, right? So here we got Monday, 27th of May, 1984. Lack of motivation and concentration. I'm totally ashamed of this lame workout. Total intensity blasting from now on. So I must have had a bad day, and I'm having a word with myself.
Have a
you
word
know?
with yourself.
Yeah,
And so what are the things you see here when you're going through here?
I mean, it takes me back to sitting in my one-bedroom council flat in Castle Vale.
Castle Vale was the
Castle
estate
Vale, it's a council estate. It was notorious at the time. I think it's a bit more civilized now, and violence. I mean, if you didn't live on Castle Vale, you didn't want to go on Castle Vale. You wouldn't go on there. It's very tribal at that time. I think things have changed now. Yeah, I was dreaming to make it out of there. I don't really know if I knew, but I knew good things were coming. You know, I was doing something here positive. I was putting my energy in it, and something good was going to come of it. And I knew I had potential to do something. I think I started thinking, well, I'm great if I could be British champion one day, something like that, you know,
Like
at that point.
medium goals.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think it's important not to have your goals. It's okay to, you know, think in the back of your mind, you know, I want to do this. But if you only think about that, it's so far away. It's not you got to break it down into smaller goals. I'll be sitting in my apartment writing this stuff down. I remember now being there. I mean, even when I won the British Championship, I was British champion, and I came home to this council flat, very sparsely furnished, as I said, just a mattress. I didn't have a proper bed, a couch and a TV and a cooker, and that's it. But I don't remember being unhappy or anything like that. You know, I was just really happy to be driven and being able to pursue these goals.
Come here, even though it might be my first Mr. Olympia contest, and people might think, well, he's going to be overawed by the occasion and intimidated. There's no way, you know, I'm prepared psychologically. I believe in myself, and, you know, I'm coming to show everybody what I've done.
Mainly I just kept myself to myself, and I was this quiet guy that, you know, just used to catch the bus and go to the gym and come back again, and, you know, walk down to the supermarket and get his groceries and cart them back to the apartment.
Did they even know you were a bodybuilder?
Yeah, people recognize, you know, they recognize the physique when it starts developing. Probably for the first couple of years, not really. You know?
Because you stay covered up, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was always covered up. I wasn't doing it for anyone else, and it's kind of like I didn't want to show anybody because it wasn't ready yet.
Right.
It's like an artist with his painting. They don't want nobody to look at that shit till it's finished, you know?
I like to go home, you know, in my own environment with my own family, my own friends, and everything where I feel comfortable, and just train there, and nobody knows what's going on, and I'm working day in, day out all year round to improve my physique, and then I can pop up, you know, here like at the Mr. Olympia, and everybody's going to be saying, wow, what happened to this guy, you know, because they haven't seen me all year, so they're going to see the improvement.
How do you equate those two Dorians in your own mind? This guy was literally daily goal-oriented, if not hourly. When to train, when to eat, how much to train, versus you now. And it seems like your goals now are very, you know, general goals. I want to be a better person, I want to connect more.
I want to travel, I want to experience, and but without this groundwork, and I look back and I got a tremendous respect for this young guy, you know, because all the odds were stacked against. No family, you know, support and background and encouragement. You know, living on my own in a council estate, and it's just so far away from what, you know, the home of bodybuilding in America and stuff, so I was just dreaming about it.
Did you take time off between a big win?
Well, that was leading me into a recollection that I had after one Mr. Olympia, I don't know which one it was, and Dorian, when do you start training? When do you start preparing for next year? How long are you on, like, next week? Like, with a straight face, next week? I'm like, sorry, what do you mean? Next week. You know?
Yeah.
Like all year, man, all year. I don't take any breaks, you know? And somebody asked me one time, like, why don't you take a couple of months off training? I said, why don't you take a couple of months off sex? Pushing and pushing resulted in me getting injuries, and whether I did get to the next level, that's a matter of opinion. I think some areas I did improve even after the injury.
A lot of people don't really know this, but this year I had a lot of problems with injuries and so on, and there was a couple of times I really thought it wasn't going to be possible for me to be here and be competing in the Mr. Olympia, but I persevered, I pushed through, and it makes this victory all the more sweeter, and it makes me reinforces how important the title is to me, and I'll be back next year. I'll definitely be back next year and better than ever.
But obviously, once you get that bicep injury like that, it's never going to be the same. So that was a weakness. I felt threatened by my injuries only. 94, I was like, this bicep injury, you know, how much is it going to affect me and everything? So there's a little bit of doubt there maybe. But 95, no, I remember feeling very positive. 96 and 97 was, you know, with the tricep injury, that was my most doubtful moment. But 97 was very tough, not one I enjoyed at all. I was on stage having to take painkillers, anti-inflammatory and stuff like that, and I didn't feel like that indestructible guy. And it's probably the nearest I came to being beaten by Nasser Al-Sambati. The aura was definitely down that year, you know. It didn't make a lot of sense to me at the time, but now it does, because now I know about energy and auras and that kind of stuff. The funny thing was, as I said, this total tunnel vision, this total dedication to this lifestyle and this goal, I was starting to feel uncomfortable with it. I was starting to think, this is starting to feel like a job now. When the injury came along, it was like, shit, I didn't go out the way I wanted to. Maybe I can go back and redeem myself and do another one, but I wasn't meant to be.
Behold, here cometh the dreamer. Let us slay him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams.
Dorian, yesterday you told us some pretty serious news about your career at the moment. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, as people may know, in training for the last Mr. Olympia competition, I had a very serious injury which occurred about 3 weeks out from the competition. Almost completely tore off
the tricep tendon. I've had setbacks before. I've had adverse circumstances, and I've always got to the top. So I'm sure that'll be the case once again.
And like that, it was over. After 14 years of single-minded dedication in pursuit of one goal, Dorian was lost. He still had the same intensity, but nowhere to channel it. And that meant excess.
It wasn't planned. Everything else I'd done was strategic. It was planned. The contest, when I should do it, and it was planned out. It was military, you know. And here, boom, like, what are you going to do now, you know?
William Blake once wrote, "The road of excess leads to the palace of wisdom." You never know what is enough until you know what is more than enough.
Can you tell us about some of those party days when, you know, before you met Gal, when you were single?
Oh, I don't know. My daughter's going to watch this thing now.
You gotta tell us a little bit, because there is no dark without the light, or light without the
exactly.
dark.
You know what it was? I think I went through this transition thing when I retired, and you know, everything fell apart. My nephew passed away very young, tragically. My marriage was breaking up. My career was ended. It was like, you know, I was falling into this pit. And then I just, like, you know, my whole construct was like falling apart, right?
Yeah.
So I think often people that, you know, start to get spiritual, they go through this like crisis first, you know, and maybe that's what it was. And I started reading a lot of religious stuff, and that's where I started, you know. I started reading books and gathering information and realizing, you know, things weren't exactly as I thought they were, or they, you know, growing up and watching TV and going to school and all that stuff. But I think it was almost too heavy at that time.
Right.
And
you weren't ready to receive that message.
I was letting getting the facts, but like, what am I going to do about this, you know? So it was a little bit like, okay, but I'm just going to have fun now, you know?
Yeah.
So I partied a lot in Vegas, in the States, New York. You know, whole weekends just out there partying, different girls and all that stuff. I think I had to do that because I was living such a, you know, restricted lifestyle.
You were living like a monk for those 14,
so I had to go
years.
through all that to like get balanced out a little bit.
Right.
And you know, when I met Gal, I was pretty slightly balancing out, and
So that was at the
she
end of
helped
10
that
years of
process.
that, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, not like, hey, I'm just a hedonistic party animal all the time, because I was still, you know, still eating healthy, still going to gym, all that stuff. But on my trips away and things like that, you know, I go hell for leather, and I partied just as hard as I'd trained and anything else I'd do.
Yeah.
So I was into that crazy stuff, man. I mean, I was thinking today, several times, guys offered me their wives. Like, Dorian, you're so cool, I like you so much, and my wife likes you as well. You know, you want to have her, you can have her, and that's just a crazy thing.
How do you respond to that, Dorian?
Usually, you know, like a little bit, thanks a lot, and just like kind of smooth it over. And at one time I was like, okay, let's go for it.
I was telling the guys, I was like, try to conceive of the fact that any nightclub you go to in the world, most likely the doormen not only know you, they're huge fans of you.
Yeah.
And that must boggle your mind, the access you get to everything.
Yeah, that's great, because whatever you want to call it, you know, fame, celebrity, I got a little bit of it, you know, and the advantages of those advantages, right?
Yeah.
But I can walk down the street and most people don't know who the hell I am, because it's like a niche thing.
Yeah.
If you're into the gym world, guys like idolize me, you know, it's like, you know, that's what they do, and I got right to the top, and they know what that fucking involves, so got a lot of respect and everything like that, and they're very happy to meet me and entertain me and everything. But you know, I walk around here. Most people don't know who I am unless they're, you know, unless they know me, they've met me, or you know, they're into that world. So I'm not like, you know, I'm not going to get harassed walking down the street.
Which is nice.
Yeah, it's great. Oh, that would be a nightmare, you know. And most of the, you know, I'm usually just walking around. I'm not walking around in Mr. Olympia mode. It's almost like, you know, that's almost like an act, right? You know, when you're working, you got to be that guy, and people are looking for that guy. But when I'm not even, you know, I just think I'm a normal guy. And sometimes people are looking at me and doing double takes, and I'm half thinking, why are they looking at me? And then I realize, oh, okay, probably, you know, he's recognized me.
Or you look like someone who is someone.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
I don't know.
It is.
Walk past the boats and the crazy expensive cars and go get a cheap ice cream.
Let's do it.
All right. I love to be in the sun, man. 50 years of living in Birmingham, now I've become like a beach rat. People always criticize me for being like, not being like emotional on stage and not smiling and all this stuff. But I learned that at an early age when my dad died. I learned to kind of control and hide the emotions. I don't know why, it was just a big thing that when I went back to school, I didn't want to cry. I didn't want people to see me break down. I didn't want to see me cry when I went back to school after that, you know? And I didn't. And I think I always had that thing inside that I kind of suppress and control. But the first time I won the Night of Champions and the first time I won the Mr. Olympia, if you look at the footage, you see I'm biting my lip. That's like to suppress the kid. I did feel like breaking down and crying because it's accumulation of all these years training and all this, but I had to kind of control it because that was something I'd practiced for many years and got quite good at, you know. I actually look back at pictures of myself about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when I was living in England. And I say, who's this old, sick-looking white guy?
Well, there's a picture of you at London Real Studios with me from January 2013, so almost 4 years ago. And you do look different. You know, you've got really close-shaved hair. You do look, well, sicker than you do now. Now you look completely relaxed. You've got a beard like Ernest Hemingway. And you do look different even in that short amount of time.
Yeah, well, you know, the inner self has changed, right? So there's going to be some changes on the outside, I think. I mean, I noticed my wardrobe at some point, I don't know what it was, like a year and a half ago when I started doing yoga and started meditating. I'm like, what's with all these black shirts and these gray shirts and stuff? I don't want to wear these anymore. I don't want to wear yellow and orange and red and, you know, it's just a whole different feeling, different vibration. And that has definitely helped. I mean, I didn't really know what meditation was. You sit there and you try to think of nothing, and I don't really know what that's about. How is that going to help you, you know? But it just helps tremendously. I would recommend it to anyone. It just, it's almost like it slows everything down. So you don't knee-jerk reaction to anything anymore. Right. Situations come, things arise, where normally, maybe in the past, I'd get angry or I'd get upset or I'd get stressed. Now I see it coming and I'm like, that's interesting. Well, you know, it's like everything is kind of slowed down, so I don't react now. I know what I'm thinking. You know, most of the time we don't even know what process is going on in here. What's thinking? Why are we doing? We just did it. Well, I don't know why I did that. You know, I just lost my temper. All that is kind of gone now, you know, and it changes your vibration as we're talking. And I think situations and the universe and people start reacting differently to you.
Do you think you can kind of draw parallels between that and when you used to lift in the gym? Are there similarities? Or
I used to say that training was my meditation, because it's kind of, you're focusing on one thing, focusing on one subject. I'm focused on this exercise and lifting this weight and feeling the muscle stretch and feeling it contract. And while I'm doing that, I'm not thinking about anything else. So my mind is getting a rest from all the other shit, like whatever I gotta do today, what about the bills, what about this, what about that, you know, that's all gone. When I went to the gym, that is all gone. So exercise is a form of meditation as well. It all fits together, you know, meditation, physical exercise, diet, the whole thing, the whole lifestyle, it all goes together.
Including yoga now.
Including yoga, yeah.
And
I couldn't even sit down in a full squat anymore. It was like uncomfortable on my hips and my back. And I thought, wow, this is not right. I need to straighten this shit out, you know? And I just got it in my head, yoga or Tai Chi or Qigong or something like that I need to do, you know? Okay, I spoke to a couple other people. I thought, yeah, I'd like to look into this yoga thing. It never really occurred to me before. Looks like a woman's thing, like silly things with hand up in the air and like, I squat 600 pounds and bench press 450 and bullshit, you know, like that would have been the old Dorian, right? You know, what is that? Something that women do, right? You know? So I had these big, powerful legs and everything. So we got into a pose, a warrior pose, which is like a lunge and you got to hold it, you know? I didn't realize how long you held these poses. I thought it was a couple of, you know, I started shaking, and then I just buckled and I fell on the floor. And Gemma, who's my instructor, just looked at me and went, Dorian. Like, you know, like, hey, it's, you know, big guy, it's not so easy as you thought, you know? And it wasn't. So I don't fall over anymore. I got a bit better and everything like that. It probably would have been great for me to do a little bit when I was training. Would have helped me to avoid some injuries. Would have helped made me more mobile and flexible in the posing and stuff like that. So it would have had benefits back then, but I wouldn't have listened to that back then, you know?
And a lot of people ask you now, Dorian, do you even lift?
Yeah, no, I don't even lift, man. It's true, I don't even lift. I feel like I've almost got a new body. You know, it's had a dramatic physical effect on me as far as mobility and flexibility. Much more conscious of my breathing and the oxygen going around the body. That's the benefit of yoga, apart from the fact that it's not just a physical exercise. It's a spiritual exercise as well. You're tuning yourself up. I mean, these guys thousands of years ago, they figured out these positions, do certain things to your body and to your energy and all that stuff. So. I use the word vibration or frequency because that's the only way I can describe it. It's like the yoga helps you tune in your better to the frequency as well. Somehow the positions and the body alignments and so on, they have some effect. There's been a few times when at the end we do a meditation at the end to relax, and a few times I physically start crying at the end. Not anymore, but I think there was stuff that had to come out.
Yeah, I got a little.
I was too like before, you know. I had to get a bit more female energy, whatever it is. Not bad, man. Mr. Olympia cries.
Everyone cries.
Of Dorian in '93, how he bit his lip. Or '92 when you won. And I was like, well, Dorian wouldn't cry, so I'm not going to cry.
Yeah, but that,
but I was
that was
close
the
to crying
unevolved
there.
Dorian, right?
Yeah, that's the
That was Dorian trying to suppress his emotions, where now I don't try to do that. Like, I enjoy being with my teacher because I take a totally different approach to this, where I try not to learn about it. I try to be like, I'm totally in your hands. You tell me what to do, because I'm used to going to the gym and being the teacher and teaching people about training and position, and I'm a baby here, I don't know anything.
That yoga session stirred up a lot of emotions from my past. And seeing Dorian flowing with movement and energy on that beach made me realize how far he had come. There was a lightness to him. You would never guess this was the man they once called the Shadow. Now he was vibrant, spontaneous, with nothing left to prove. He seemed truly free.
All right, man. Give me a hug, give me a hug.
He has different, can you see it? Because I see it.
Yeah, that's some shit.
Hold it on my face.
I think I would be proud to see that I've moved on and learned different things, and I believe a lot of people become what I call crystallized, you know? Very early on. This is who I am. This is what I'm about, and and that's it. I see it a lot with the people from the bodybuilding world. It's like they are Mr. Olympia or, you know, whatever champion they are, and they're a bodybuilder, and that is what they are, and that's what they'll be. I've evolved, but I mean, I still, it's not like I'm dismissing my past. My past it made me who I am, but I don't need to stay in the past, you know? I don't need to still be that guy in the past, and I don't need to feel, you know, the greatest thing in life, the greatest freedom is when you don't give a fuck. You don't give a fuck what people think anymore. That's really freedom, yeah? Yeah, it's my friend Abdul. What's up, man? All right?
Abdul, how are you?
And,
Brian, good to see you. So what's on the list today?
Yeah, we got the strawberry, kosher kush, bling bling, white widow, and some mango, which I never heard of before.
Okay.
Yeah. So, quick lesson for you folks that don't know about cannabis. Broadly speaking, you got two kinds. You got cannabis indica and cannabis sativa, and they have different effects. So the indica is heavier, is more sedative, is better for pain, probably for sleeping. That's kind of how it works. It's a collective,
Right.
and we all contribute to the collective of the club.
So why aren't there these clubs in London?
Good question. Who's the mayor? Let's go talk to him.
We have a new mayor.
Yeah.
So maybe it could happen. And this is the kind of club you want to be hanging out in, right? Because it doesn't have all those other bad side effects that a lot of clubs have.
No, exactly. I mean, you go to a nightclub and people are drinking a lot of alcohol. There's always a possibility of violence there, you know, something's going to happen and people are throwing up, getting sick, all kind of madness going on. You don't get that in a place where you get cannabis. People are just relaxed, nice and social, and nice and quiet, relaxed atmosphere, you know.
Very nice. Wow, what do we
All
have
right,
here?
so we've got Abdul. So looking for a sativa.
Sativa is el bling bling y strawberry.
Bring and strawberry.
Y el white widow. So mango is 50-50.
Yeah. And the kush is a heavier one if you want to sleep, yeah?
Yeah, it's kush.
That's-
It's medicinal.
Yeah, that's not my preference.
What are you smelling?
Well, you tell me.
Ooh. Smells concentrated.
So for me, I'm just going to have a gram of the strawberry, please. Used to be in one joint, now it lasts me a few days now.
It used to be one. I was wondering if you could tell me about your relationship with cannabis.
I've reduced
we
a
go.
lot and got a lot more control over it, whereas before it was getting a bit habitual. This plant is a teacher plant, just like the ayahuasca. It's a teacher plant and it's a helper. Too much of it is not good. It's imbalancing your energy. So you need to, you know, get on top of that. So I still smoke, but it's way less than I used to. And now I do it with respect and I do it with some intention. Why am I smoking? Nothing's all good and nothing's all bad. There's, you know, shades of gray.
Dorian said there was one more thing we had to do.
All Bobby.
I wanted to ask him more, but I had to give up control. That seemed to be the whole theme of this trip.
Yeah, fucking
Yeah,
right
okay,
on camera,
all right,
man.
okay, all right.
I'm getting
Down-
Brian
down-
Rose live
down
on
there.
camera. Smoking weed. We're smoking for health, we're smoking for awareness, and just because we fucking want it, really. Okay, so you promised me, Brian, at the start of the week, and it was very smart of you to wait until the end of the week to smoke with me.
It was, right?
Yeah.
Is
Well,
this-
listen, man, you've done the yoga, you've done the HIIT training in the gym. You know, you're a fucking fit dude as well. So, like I said, it's not just this guy sitting in a chair interviewing. He does this stuff himself. So now he's gonna do a bit of this. So he does a little bit more what he's talking about, and you know, we'll not let you overindulge so that you fall over or anything.
Thank you.
So, all right,
This is
so
part of my education process.
There we go. Final take, London Real. Sunday. What's the date?
October 9th.
Sunday 9. Sunday
Yeah.
9. Yeah, we earned this today. Ryan wanted to do it this way. So here's number 2. Over to you, amigo.
And what is this stuff, this fine
This
stuff?
is actually what we got from the Joe's Club while we were
Okay.
there. This is strawberry haze.
Okay.
Very good,
Sativa.
good quality sativa. Yeah,
Yeah.
You're not gonna like want to fall asleep straight away or anything. You're gonna be thinking about thinking stuff.
All right, here we go. Gotten this. Thank you, Dorian.
You're very welcome. Sharing is caring, man. Inhale deeply. There you go. You know what to do now. Let it go. Let it go. Not bad, man. Not bad for kind of virgin ones.
I'm gonna start
One
with
more
that.
on sis, 2 each, and then we go for a little walk. Okay. It's okay, Moby. It's okay. There you go.
Definitely getting real.
Almost naturally, like, people have been weeded out of my life, you know? The wrong ones have gone, or I've realized, hey,
Yeah.
you know, bye-bye. You know, either I've done it or circumstances have done it, and you start to, like, you know, you want to be around people vibrating on the same kind of level.
Yeah, yeah. And the same happened with me. And I attract all this great energy now. But when I was in banking, I attracted no energy.
Yeah.
You know? And I had the money and the this and the that, but I didn't have any friends, and I sure as hell didn't come in contact with people like you or anybody
Ruthless
else.
world, man, right?
It's what? It's,
Ruthless.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's just all about you. And
Yeah.
you're fighting over, you know, big scraps of meat at work
Yeah.
every day. So.
Yeah.
But you're not adding any value to the world. And
No, because it's not real, it's bullshit. It's a fucking illusion, the whole money system,
yeah.
you know?
Well, on top of that, and also you're not helping anyone's life. So you don't get
you're
any
hurting
good
people.
Yeah, yeah.
You're hurting people.
You don't get any good energy back.
No.
And I was living proof of that. And
Yeah.
then, like, all of a sudden, all these great people started coming into my life, and great things started happening to me. And it wasn't coincidence.
Yeah.
It's because I was doing this.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I never stopped, even though
That must be great meeting all those people and not only meeting, sitting down and like getting their views on
they
stuff.
rub off on me.
Yeah.
That's part of the interest of the show, because people watch me and they see I pick up these little pieces from each person.
Yeah.
I'll pick up something from Ito, a mindset from you.
Yeah.
I'll pick up something from this guy, that guy, that guy, and then all of a sudden I look back and I'm a different person.
But there was still an elephant in the room. What about psychedelics? At London Real, we know this is the quickest way to dissolve the ego. My story with ayahuasca has been well documented and is responsible for me starting a family and the birth of my son.
Nick and I went on Monday evening to an ayahuasca retreat. It was in the UK. We're not going to go into too many more details, but it was in the UK. We're not going to hide that. And we went in and we drank ayahuasca, and it was the real deal. And
it was the real deal.
It was the real deal. I must say, I don't think we could have had a better experience.
What part had these played in Dorian's journey?
What do you take away from those DMT experiences?
It's tremendous amount of information that you get in, and it was like the higher me talking to me and telling me like the biggest problem we have here really on this planet, on this plane, is the ego, you know. The ego gets in the way of everything, and the ego is not really you, you know. The ego is just a construct we've formed in this, yeah.
Was ego what built your whole career?
Probably. Okay. I mean, initially, why would you want to be the best in the world at something, you know? I guess it must be your ego. But the ego can get in the way of a lot of stuff.
Talk to me about psychedelics. On our first episode, we spoke about DMT, and you had even said that we were going to smoke DMT together. I went on to do a before and after episode, but I know you had an experience with DMT.
You did it without me, man. What's that about?
You kind of disappeared.
You couldn't wait, right? Yeah, I went into the shadows again. Shadow, you know. I call it a door opener for me to like, wow, you realize there's another world out there, and where we live is just like, it's just a narrow piece of light. Taking psychedelics, it takes you out of that, and you see that there's more out there. I don't know if I would take psychedelics again. Maybe I would take ayahuasca again if I felt there was a reason, if I had something I really wanted to know or work on or something like that.
And you much prefer ayahuasca over DMT because it's a longer message.
Well, now I'm going to contradict my first interview, aren't I?
I gotta be honest, it was like something I would never do again. It made me as sick as you can. I mean, this stuff was just like drinking paint stripper. It was just to get it down was a chore, you know. But as far as like revelations and hearing things and seeing things, I didn't get too much. I was quite disappointed, to be honest.
Now I look back, I did hear something. Now I recall. Not what I wanted to hear, not what I wanted to see, because I didn't really see anything much. But I got a repetitive message in my brain: stop poisoning yourself. Because I was, drinking, doing the party drugs sometimes, all this kind of stuff. So, I was poisoning myself. And the ayahuasca gives you what you need. And at that point, that's all I needed to know and hear. Forget about seeing your spirit animals, mate, and all that stuff, and great revelations of what life's all about. Stop poisoning yourself. That's my advice to you right now.
Maybe it's time that your fans learn about, ayahuasca and DMT and consciousness and breaking down your ego. Maybe that's your phase two.
That's the new message. I mean, I'm in a new place now, so I'm able to give new information. I wouldn't have known this 2 years ago, or at least I wouldn't be able to speak as confidently about it.
What is a challenge for you right now? I mean, everyone has challenges in life, no matter where they're at. And you have a book coming out. You have a great life that you've let me into the last couple of days. What is still a challenge for you?
Learning is a challenge. Learning. Just want to learn more about the whole thing we've been talking about what is the reality, what is the purpose, and I feel like I'm getting closer and closer to that. And I'm sure if we speak in a year's time, I'll have stuff to say that's even way out there, And Yates has lost it. Yeah, I have. I'm glad to lose it, I have lost it. I've lost the plot. Because what is the plot? It's the vision and the version of reality that we're given through the various channels, which I always knew. I had a feeling that things just ain't right. A lot of things don't make sense, and more I realize that. So that's the journey I'm on. Life is like a movie, just a movie, it's just a game. I think there's levels to it. In a video game, you want to get to the next level, you got to collect so many points, right, or whatever, and you've got to learn the cheats. So I think in this life, you've got to raise your energy level to move to the next life. Otherwise, you just keep getting recycled back here. That's what I believe. It's not like I'm trying to live forever. No one's going to live forever. It's just a number anyway. But I've got this vehicle, trying to keep it in good shape, because it's all I've got in this life. When it breaks, then you've got to move on. So still things I'd like to do, but I don't particularly want to come back here and do this whole thing again. So,
So you've got to get to the higher level.
that's my goal. Get out of here.
I think we all need to get to the higher level. Just like in Casavale, you want to get out of there.
Yeah.
And here, you want to get out of here.
I want to keep coming back, man.
Yeah.
You know, I think maybe this could be my life when I realize that. Maybe in the other ones you don't, you know. So you're going to keep coming back and learning lessons and learning lessons. You want to get a better view of the world and try to think independently and realize that we're all connected and everything affects everybody. We're all the same, you know. We're all one people, and we're only here all together on this planet, which is also another living organism that we're kind of part of, you know.
Comes back to the tattoo on your front shin. So many things you keep saying.
One love, one heart.
A guest on London Real once told me, "You're only as old as the last time you changed your mind." Dorian embraced change.
Yeah, beautiful, man. Yeah, it looks like the Wild West, those hills.
His life was once all about control, but he let it go. And everything flowed from there. I was proud to be part of that change.
Action. All right, so here we are at the top of the hill, Istan. I just wanted to say this because I felt like saying it right now. I'm here with Brian. Brian's the guy that interviews me on London Real. I want to let people know this guy doesn't just talk the talk. He walked the walk with me, the big DY. We've done yoga together, we've done weights in the gym yesterday, and we yesterday did legs. Think about that, anyone that's trained leg with me. And then we just come up the mountains together. Not only did Brian keep up with me, he had a slight technical difficulty on the way up and recovered from that and still kept up with me, and I wasn't taking it easy. So you don't just walk the walk, Brian talks the talk. So congratulations, man. Big respect, Brian, for doing that. How many people can do that? Tell me now. I'm changing because I'm becoming less private, probably, and the London Real is being good for me. I'm being less private, sharing a bit more with people. I'm showing, wow, you're at my age, 54, 55. There's a lot of things you can do, still do. I couldn't do the splits a year ago. Now I'm doing them. You couldn't breakdance whatever a year ago, or whatever it was, and now you're breakdancing, man. You can do anything the fuck you want, you know? But you've got a version of reality in your head and your mind, yeah, that you've had all your life. And it's can be quite disturbing to start deconstructing that, you know? What you believe is good and right and wrong and real and not real. So you just got to kind of keep an open mind.
Everything's a thought. We have an idea about who we are. That idea becomes fixed. The ego takes over. Like Dorian says, we become crystallized. It takes guts to destroy your old persona and accept change. But once you do, everything falls into place.
I think it's important that people start talking about their ideas as well, because London Real started 5 years ago, where I just rolled the cameras and started talking about how I felt, what I thought was important.
Yeah.
You came on the show almost 4 years ago and talked about what you thought was important, and all of a sudden we're beaming all these ideas around. And
because it's real, man. You watch TV, you got this news guy standing outside the White House, standing out the House of Commons and telling you a story, right? It's just a fucking guy reading from a script on a mic, you know? We're outside the mainstream media, right? We don't need those guys. People want to see real stuff. They want to see people talking real things. They don't want to watch some bullshit chat show, and they're on there to talk bullshit and promote their latest book and their movie, and it's just the same shit all the time. People want to hear real stories, so let's just keep doing it and keep growing and getting more information out there and tuning more people into some real shit and out of the illusion, you know? That's what it's all about. I put those They Live sunglasses on. If you've not seen that movie, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, watch it.
The ego says, once everything falls into place, I will find peace. But the spirit says, find peace, and everything will fall into place. Dorian taught me, if your identity isn't serving you, maybe it's time to let it go.
Thank you for calling 1-900 Pump Selector Pose. For Operator Yates, please press 0. For front lat spread, please press 1. For signature pose, please press 2. For back lat spread, please press 3. For random access, please press the star key.